So I saw a story this morning. I'm reading the Athletics. They got a podcast, Scoop City. And under reported, but this is Diana Rossini, this podcast. One of the things noted here is that the New York Jets and Aaron Rodgers was given a heads up on this, is that they contacted Arthur Smith, who the Steelers hired as an offensive coordinator, who could come to the Jets and potentially be part of the play calling process with Nathaniel Hackett. Now, I want you to think about that. Name the last NFL team that won a Super Bowl that had to babysit one of their coordinators. The Jets literally had to bring on a second offensive senior member to help with the play calling for the offensive coordinator. A lot of people in my space are afraid to get called out. They'll soft pedal opinions. They play it safe. And they don't want to be honest, especially about big market teams that have very large and loud fan bases. But we have to be honest about the New York Jets. They're an 8-9 win. They're an 8-9 win team. Tops. That's the top. And I could see 6 and 7 easily. When you look at their schedule, that looks like the biggest break, right? When you look at their schedule, that's what everybody points to. But opening at San Francisco with a rebuilt O-line is a potential nightmare. The next 4 weeks, weeks 2 through 5, it's Tennessee, New England, Denver, Minnesota, 3 at home. That looks really, really comfortable. But Tennessee will probably, after losing on the road, play with urgency in their home opener, and the Jets are on a short week. And the Minnesota game really isn't at home. It's in London, and those games are always weird. That's not as easy as you think. In the end of the season, they end with Tua, Trevor Lawrence, Matt Stafford, Josh Allen, and Tua again. You could go 1-4 in those easily. Those could be shootouts for a beat-up Jets defense that's been on the field too long. Just think about this, all the optimistic soft pedaling on the Jets. And again, I think they're an 8-9 win team, but I think that's the top. There is no 13, 12, 11, I don't think at all. Just think about this. I'm going to give you characteristics of a team, and then I'll unveil the team. So let's put this up for our television audience. Characteristics of a team. Excellent young coach, ascending star quarterback, variety of strong weapons, great left tackle in prime, no clear-cut favorite in their division. That is the Houston Texans. Do we think they're going to be a 12 or 13 win team? There's a lot of people, C.J. Stroud, sophomore slump, they're still very, very young at a lot of spots. That's a team we have hope for, but they're not Buffalo or Kansas City or San Francisco, Detroit. Here's another team. I'll throw another one out there. Elite Super Bowl winning head coach. Star quarterback, still elite. Dependable weapons. 4 top draft picks on the defensive front last 2 years. Very stable organization. That's the L.A. Rams. And everybody is like, I'm not sure. Texans and Rams. All those things are musts for Super Bowl teams. Now let's go to the Jets. Let's think about what the Jets are. An unproven defensive head coach that's lost 2 out of 3 games he's coached. A 40-year-old prickly quarterback coming off a major injury. A rebuilt O-line with an old left tackle. An offensive coordinator that you need a babysitter for, and incredibly impulsive and shaky ownership. Oh, yeah. In the tougher conference with a dominant number 1 team in their division that's won it 4 straight with arguably the most talented quarterback in the league. And you want me to embrace this as an 11, 12, 13 win team? The Texans and the Rams, people like, but I hear, well, C.J. Stroud's young, Stafford's old, Texans ownership. Well, the defensive players for the Rams, they're really unproven, though Kobe Turner was actually semi-dominant for a rookie third-round defensive tackle. I'm not buying the Jets. People are afraid because it's New York, it's a big fan base. People in the media don't want the blowback. Well, their defense, 6 of the top 10 defenses in the NFL last year, 6 of the top 10, either did not make the playoffs or did not win a playoff game. If you're relying on your defense to carry you, it ain't happening. It's an offensive league. The Niners can't stop anybody. San Francisco last couple of years, they'll play a Kansas City in a big spot. Kansas City's hot knife through butter against them. You're not winning the Super Bowl on the defensive side. Go look at the coaches ending up in the Super Bowl last 3 or 4 years. They're all offensive guys. So I'll say it. 8, 9 wins tops for the Jets, with a real possibility of 6 or 7 wins based on the health of Aaron and the offensive line. And I do not believe that's negative. J-Mac with the news.
No.
Turn on the news. This is the Herdline News.
Well, when you frame it that way, they're in deep trouble. But I will say the market disagrees with you. I saw Jets 12 or 13 games, depending on where you're shopping. They're favored. Okay?
They're not favored like Alabama in the Saban dynasty.
That doesn't happen in the NFL. Come on.
I think that I really do think the second game of the year is fascinating because you're going to go to San Francisco cross-country flight and probably get your teeth kicked in.
Maybe. We'll see.
Remember, old offensive line and old offensive linemen.
How are they old in week 1?
Well, Tyron Smith, the older offensive linemen, veterans do not play in the preseason. So September, especially week 1, what team has more dependable veterans returning? San Francisco over the Jets.
Fair.
And it's at home. And it's a 3,000-mile flight. So it's not a good one. Then you go back home, and on a short week and flying back home, you go back on the road, Tennessee home, with a new offensive coach, elevated weapons. That everybody's got that as a W. That is a 2017 game either way.
We'll see. Tennessee Titans. I am not going to bet on Niners Jets. Remember, last year, I think I went 4-1 in week 1, but the miss was, give me the Steelers over the 49ers, and it was like 28-0.
You know, I told you this.
I was so disappointed.
So I told you this year, and I've already told management, I'm not doing Blazing 5 in week 1.
Stop it.
No, I already told you guys. I don't care.
You could say that now. Then we get close to the season.
Well, I know.
I love this. I love it.
I know that, but I'm not going to count it. Because last year I went 0-5 because nobody's playing any of their starters in the preseason. So the Blazing 5 isn't for me. It's for the audience. I've had people my whole life that people come up to me for more than any other thing to want to talk about the Blazing 5.
Yeah.
Out of everything I do, all the takes.
It's number 1.
Well, people bet it. So I'm not going to throw out a bet when last year I had no idea in week 1 what the hell I was watching. Nobody's playing in the preseason. Well, so I'm going to start in week 2 and then look at my staff. You guys, it'd be nice. It'd be nice if I had some support on the staff.